Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me again. I'm just going to carry on from what I was talking about before. This very, very powerful prayer that I didn't believe in, the istikhara. I was just finishing off from the first time that I was going to be a second wife, and then we went. It all fell through, and then we went to carry on to do it again. After it failed the second time, after the 4 weeks, the second time it failed. I did the istikhara again. I wanted my book to be published. This person did do the outline for my book, and I wanted my book to be published. It was all over, but I wanted to see if this person could still help me, or otherwise send me a link. Sent an email just to ask if he could still help me or send me a link. The reply was just sent me a link, so obviously he's not going to be able to help me. And I went to bed that night and I had a dream that I was still seeing this guy behind his wife's back, and I said to him, "What about your wife?" And he said, "Oh, it doesn't matter, she won't know." And then all of a sudden she came in the bedroom with a massive carving knife and she started cutting my legs. This is a sign. Allah sends me a really strong signs. If you're going to carry on with this is what's going to happen. So it was ended. Just one last time, I sent an email just to ask, I think I was still trying to clutch on at straws, whether he could still help me with my book. Probably hoping to still see him again, but this wasn't the case. And that's the signs and dreams that I get from Allah. After I was reverted for about 6 months, I was I was very spiritually high, and I know I was very spiritually high. I had a vision that I was pregnant, and this was, I was pregnant, I was in a house with my sister, and I could feel the limbs coming out from my stomach, you know, when a baby kicks. These limbs were really kicking me, and it was really painful, and it wasn't very nice. And I said to my sister, "There's something not right here. This isn't normal. This isn't a normal baby. There's something. It felt like a devil or something in there." And I said, we're going to have to get to see a priest. I have to have an exorcism. It's something evil." And I remember we couldn't get out of that house because there was an accident on the road and there was ambulances out there. And then the next minute we did get out of the house, we got into the car and we was driving around all these little villages, these roadways, and was trying to find a priest, a church for an exorcism. And then the next minute I was in this church and there was a big queue to the priest's office. And I got in through the doorway and I said, no, I can't go in here. I can't go in here. This is a church. I'm a Muslim. I have to go to a mosque. I have to go to a mosque. And we were in the door and I looked up to the priest's office and I could see a big queue there. And then all of a sudden I'd given birth. And I was on a hospital trolley in a big long corridor. I was on the hospital trolley, I'd given birth, and there was a little boy. There was a little boy I'd given birth to, but he was 5 years old. And he was stood by my trolley and he was just staring at me. And I know he was olive-skinned, long eyelashes, and he had hair parted to the left, dark hair. And I can remember his face as vividly as it happened last night. And he was looking at me with a smile. And then all of a sudden I looked down to the end of the corridor, the doors flew open, and in ran all my family. And they ran up and they tried to take this boy away from me. And they was grabbing him and pulling him. And bearing in mind, I'd only been reverted 3 or 4 months. So I didn't really know any stories of Islam as to such. And they were trying to pull him away. And I said, "You can't pull him away, he's mine, he's mine." They said, "Yes, we can." And I said, "No, you can't." And they said, "Oh, yes, we can, his name's Engelbert." Where they got Engelbert, I don't know. And I said, "No, it's not. He's mine, and his name's Muhammad." So this was really powerful. I was like, my gosh, Muhammad. And then I was pregnant again, and it was like 3 or 4 seconds later, I was pregnant again. I thought, oh my gosh, no, not again. What is it now? And I gave birth. And the next thing I gave birth to was a tiny little lamb. And it was so beautiful, so sweet, tiny, white, beautiful lamb. And it had letters engraved on it. And I know the letters. They were A, there was a letter missing, and then there was an S, and then there was an H. And I didn't know what it was. And I said to the sisters, "I've had this dream, and these letters were stamped on the lamb that I'd given birth to. And they said, oh my gosh, we don't know. And they were quite wary of me, actually, because I did have very powerful things happen to me. And they said, oh, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't know, so I've forgotten about it, and I've got a Durah Sharif book. And 6 months later, I picked up the Durah Sharif book, and I was reading the story of Adam in the first page. And it said that when Adam sinned, he looked up to Allah, and he said, please forgive me, Allah, for my sins, and peace and blessings be upon our Prophet, Muhammad. And Allah said, where did you see that name? Obviously, Muhammad's not down here. Muhammad was the last, peace be upon him. Where did you see that name? And he said, I've seen it engraved on your arsh. And that, as soon as I saw that name in that book, that was the name that was stamped on that lamb. And I've never seen that name, I've never seen that word, I've never seen those letters in my life before. And that was the name that was stamped on that lamb. But there was a letter missing, and that was the R. And I'd given birth to that tiny little lamb, and it had the arsh, the throne of Allah Almighty, stamped on it. And so I had this dream interpreted by a well-known person, and my interpretation of the dream was I was going to get married and I was going to become pregnant. But the dream was interpreted as, because I was 24/7 praying zikr, that was all I did, and I was very, very high spiritually, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that close to Allah, Allah's beloved, and the lamb was me being born, and I had the throne of Allah Almighty stamped on it, because that's all I ever did. I didn't want to do anything else. And that was absolutely amazing, that vision. I also used to have visions, dreams that I could take tiles off of roofs, off of big high buildings. I was very, very powerful. I could fly. And also, still happens now, that I can show my family, that I can say, Allah, 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 I love you, I love you, I love you. And my feet can levitate off the floor, and I can go as high as I want, and I can fly wherever I can. These things, when it's happening, was really nothing to me. That dream, I know now, was very, very powerful. The levitation is very, very powerful. And it's just absolutely, I can't describe how blessed I am now. When I was reverted for a few months, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think I was blessed. I'm no different to anybody. Believe me, I'm no different to anybody else. I'm not anything special. I'm just trying to get my story across, not just to reverts, but to non-Muslims as well. I've met a lot of I've met a lot of Muslims, sisters who are lovely sisters. And at first, they used to try and help me with my prayers, but it was no good because I'd already taught myself. And they used to just laugh at me, and they just used to listen to my story time again. And they used to phone me and say, oh, you know, you've given us so much strength. I believe I didn't give them any strength because I didn't do anything. But, you know, them saying that to me has really inspired me. And I don't, you know, I'm nothing special, and I don't mean to go out there, and I'm not going to, you know, I'm not big-headed, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to tell my story to born Muslims that I know it has inspired them, and I hope, you know, praise to Allah, that it does inspire a lot of born Muslims, you know, that might be on the wrong path now. None of us is perfect, whether we're Muslims, whether we're Christians, whether we're any, faith doesn't matter then. Allah made us human beings. Allah made us human beings that are, we're going to sin and we're going to have faults. But he's shown some of us the right path. He hasn't shown some. He only chooses who he wills. Another thing I find very difficult is funeral arrangements. I'm a Reaver, and I found it very, very difficult in the Muslim community because I found that a lot of the Muslims only have their own funeral funds for their relatives around them. So I'm stuck because when I die, I haven't got any family that's Muslims. My son, I don't think he doesn't know what to do. He accepts it now, bless him. My daughter would be the only way that it would be all on her shoulders to take care of my funeral. She doesn't really know the procedures for it, washing the body. She's never heard of that, and she said, I don't think I could do that. So this was a big worry to me last year. You know, what if I die tomorrow? Who's going to take, you know, who's going to pay, who's going to help me with the funeral? Who's going to where are my kids going to go to? So it is a really, really big worry. So I've took out a life insurance now. I think it's from Sun Alliance or something. I've got to do something. I don't know when I'm going to go. I don't want my children having to pay thousands of pounds out for my funeral. And I don't, I'm going to have to sit down with my daughter, bless her, and go through it. She doesn't want to wash the body. She doesn't have to. But she's going to have to know that it's not a funeral that they would have where everybody stands around the grave, everybody cries and wails and screams, and, the body's laid out in the coffin. It's totally different. This is another big thing. This is a major thing to me. So I took out life insurance last year. It doesn't come into place for 2 years until I've been paying 2 years premium, but that's in place. I feel better now, at least hopefully, inshallah, Allah let me go for 2 years so as my premium takes place. Hopefully that will take place and it won't be on my daughter or my son to do that. But these are one of the big things that we have to think about. Also, I've got a dog. This is another major hurdle in my faith. I've never had a dog in my life. I wouldn't have a dog hair on me. I can't say I don't like animals. I'm not an animal person at all. When I went to Somerset, I had all the struggles down there with my mum, and this dog appeared from a cousin. She couldn't look after him or the mum anymore. She'd split from her husband and she had children and a job. My daughter used to say to me, "You need a dog, mum, to keep you company." I said, "No, I don't." Anyway, all of a sudden, this dog was in front of me. He'd been shut in the kitchen 24 hours a day, and he was absolutely wild. It's this little staffy, and he's tan and he's rare, and everybody wants a rare brown staffy. My daughter wanted one, and this dog was. I was looking at him, and then he was mine. And my mum said to me, "I can't believe you've got a dog." I said, "No, nor can I. I just can't believe it." When we took him out for walks, I had to pick up his mess in poo bags, and my mum used to say, "Oh my gosh, this is just horrendous. How come you've got this dog?" And I said, "I just don't know." And then I got a flat back in Nottingham, and I didn't know till I moved into this flat that my neighbours are alcoholics and drug addicts. And there's all sorts of weird people coming up and down my stairwells. There's burglaries, there's everything. So now I know that dog was given to me for my protection in that flat. Otherwise, my flat would have been burgled 10 times over. And he's my baby as well. I can't have children, and I don't want to spend any more time putting my emotions into men that are just going to use and abuse me. So I've given up with that now, and Allah's given me this baby to take care of, and he is my life. And I believe he's been given to me from Allah. But this is one of the big hurdles as well. I've had loads of hassle with this dog. I expect a lot of people have seen me, Bobber's Mill around Radford, walking this staffy. I'm the only Muslim woman, apparently, that's ever been seen with a dog. So when I came back to Nottingham, I had to decide whether I was going to go out with my hijab on with this dog or not. So yes, I did. I put my hijab on. Allah knows best, and out I went with the staffy. One day I was walking on the top of Radford Road, and two young girls with children, one was about 4 and one was in a pushchair. They were white girls walking past, and a little 4-year-old said, "Oh, Mum, look at that dog, isn't it cute?" She said, "Yeah." And she said, "Can I stroke it?" And her mum said, "No, you can't." And the little girl said, "Oh, why can't I stroke it, Mum?" She said, "Because it's a foreign dog." Oh my gosh, I've got a foreign dog now. I'm a Muslim and I've got a foreign dog. And I prayed to someone with 10 arms because that's what the girl said at my mum's funeral service. So, really all was well here. I went to Asda to get a newspaper one day. I was turning around and I happened to sort of, I don't think I nudged them. They nudged me. It was a young white couple with a baby in the pushchair. And I heard the lad say to me, "Oh, why don't you get out of the way, you smelly packy?" And I looked around and I thought, "Oh, okay, just, let them go." And I also used to take my dog for a walk down the tram track, and I also had lads shouting out of a car, going past, "Oh, oi, 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 you packy." And so, everybody gets that anyway, so that's just minor to me. But this dog is a major, major thing, because I had a Muslim guy, I was walking him at 10 o'clock one evening along the top of Radford, and I had a Muslim guy shouting out of his window at 10 o'clock in the night, "You're Muslim?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You're not allowed a dog." And I said, "Oh, are you Allah? You don't know my history." So, Allah knows best. And then he drove off. And then I had somebody else stop me, say, "Oh, you're the first Muslim woman that I've seen with a dog." Oh, yeah, okay. Allah knows best. So this is another hassle that I've got. And I've got, you're not supposed to have a dog. I had one woman stop me saying, oh, you know, I always see you with your dog. And she sort of pulled her face and she said, oh, you know, you're not supposed to have a dog in Islam. And I said, yeah, but do you want to listen to my story? So I told her all my story. And in the end, she ended up crying on the curb because of my mum and why the dog's come to me. And she said, you know, I envy you. You've not got a husband. You walk about with your head up around here. You know, you're strong. And I said, well, it's not that I'm strong. It's just Allah's made me strong. And I don't, you know, I go with what Allah tells me, not what anybody else tells me. So, you know, she ended up crying in the end. But that's, until they listen to your story, to anybody listens to your story, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim or whoever they are, they don't know you. You know, and I do get lots of people say, how come you became a Muslim? And I love telling the story. You know, I think, you know, if I'm wrong, may Allah, you know, tell me I'm wrong. I think Allah's chosen me. I think Allah's chosen me for a purpose. I've never done anything in my life that's worth what I have. I've had 2 children. They're the most precious things in my life. Other than that, I went to college and qualified abuse therapist. But other than that, I've never really done anything that's outstanding. And to me, for people to give me this opportunity, Allah to give me this opportunity to come onto this TV show and tell my story, it's the most amazing thing I've been able to do. And the visions, the dreams, the istikhara, you know, all the debt I got into over this guy in Turkey. I've got over that person now. Got over him, and I've got over being in debt for about £5,000 or £6,000 through him. He's still carrying on with his ways. He's still trying to get into England. He's still gone through about 50,000 women to try and get here. You know, and me being soft-hearted, I'm really an emotional person, and I have still got feelings for him. I did love this guy, but then I've got to sit back and think, yeah, did he love you? You spent £150 on him with a gold chain. 3 months later, it was gone. He sold it. Does he really love you? No, he doesn't. I think he wants a visa. When I was over there, he never went to a mosque. I'd never seen him pray once. He did all the things that you're not supposed to do. One time I was over there and he did go to the mosque, and his friend said to me, where is so-and-so? I said, he's gone to the masjid. And he said, masjid? Why has he gone there? And I said, well, I don't know. Anyway, he came back and I said, oh, you know, why did you go to the masjid? What did you pray for? And I wasn't a Muslim then. And he said, I've prayed for a better quality of life. And I wasn't even Muslim. And I said, you know what? That is so bad. A better quality of life. You should be thankful for what you've been given. And I had goosebumps then. When I was over in Turkey, the adhan used to play out on the masjid. And I used to have goosebumps when that came out. And I used to love that. I used to love hearing that. And I can remember the last time I ever went there, and I never had enough for my flight back, and he just disowned me. And I had to find one of his friends to get me to the airport to get me home again, because I never had no money for a taxi. And he disowned me, and that was the very last time I put my feet on that soil. And that very last evening, I heard the adhan come out, and I remember crying that I didn't want to come home because I wouldn't hear that again, and that was the only reason why. Obviously, we don't get it over here, but I can have it coming out over my laptop. So there's quite a few things, you know, reverts, you know, it is a very big struggle. It's still a struggle for me. I haven't got any family that are Muslim. I've been with a lot of Muslim families, and the Muslim families that I do are friends with, they are very humble, pious, they're very caring people. You know, the families I go to, their daughters and the sons. I remember the first Eid that I spent round it, the sisters, their children had presents, and the little girls opened presents, and there were little earrings, and there were little plastic necklaces, and you know, they weren't more than like £3 or £4, and these 2 little girls were so pleased with this. It's like, you know, we would say, oh, we want a sports car. They were so pleased with this. Can you take a photo of me with a ring on? And I was just absolutely amazed. And the boys had pencil cases with their names engraved on them and the crayons to match. And they were absolutely enthralled with this. And I just could not believe this. Western culture just isn't like that. You know, they have to have a big computer, or they have to have this and that, after that. And that's what really opened my eyes. And I just couldn't believe it. And the children, they're polite. they're well mannered. When I go around there, you know, the mum says to them, bedtime now, you know, and there's no back chatting, there's no I don't want to, they go to bed. It's just a completely different world. It's completely different. And obviously the mothers in the household are, you know, really highly respected. All the families live together, which I love. They are all together. The daughters are there with the mums, the grandmothers are in the house, they live in the house. They're all together, and it's just such a lovely, lovely feeling that, you know, I'll say the other life now because I was in another life. In that life, obviously, we were, when we get old, the majority of us will be put in a home. That's what happens, you know, and I witnessed Grandad, Grandad, he was 103. When I first reverted, I used to go around to the house and he was so frail, sat in the corner of the sofa. He was 103, bless him, and he could still get up and do his 80 steps up to the patio door and back. He still would do that. He had a walking stick. And every time I went over there, I used to sit by him and hold his hand, and he used to just cry and cry. And I used to say to Corsa and Rafet, why is he crying? They said, he's just so inspired by you. He's just, you know, mesmerised by you. He can't stop crying. And I remember knitting him this massive, massive burgundy throw. It was so soft. And I was moving back to Somerset, and he had deteriorated a bit. Me and my daughter went round there, and I said to him, Grandad, I've got to go. And he says, please don't go. And I said, I'm going to go, but I'm going to come back. But I've knitted you this. And he put it up to his face, bless him, and he just cried. And he just, please don't go. And I said, I'll go, but I will see you. If I don't see you here, I will see you in the hereafter. And that's the last time I saw him. He was absolutely a beautiful man, and it's just lovely to see that in families. It's just all that you could wish for. It's just amazing. Every time I make dua for my mum, and that person, Grandad, I call him G, Grandad. I make peace and blessings for him a million times, and I say to Allah, please tell him I love him. I don't know what it is about Grandad, G, whatever you call him, something special about him. And inshallah, that's why I make dua for him, and hopefully I will meet him in the hereafter. But it's just amazing the different things that we were, you know. And some of the time I'm like this, I'm wavering on going back to that, and I'm, you know, sort of wavering to that side, and then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know, I've done this and I'm not supposed to do that. It's like when I go to work, there's no Muslim, one girl sits next to me, but all the other rest are not Muslims, and I get sidetracked and I go back into that, what I used to do before, so, you know, being loud and, you know, being entertaining, and then I have to go home and pray for forgiveness, because I know it's not Islamic, but it's my personality. Hopefully Allah will forgive me. He knows He's chosen me, and He knows that I'm trying my best. But these are the things that I get worried about, and I do worry about these things. I worry about my prayers. I do slack on my prayers, and when I do pray, I just can't stop crying. And the only thing I can say to Allah is, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. Please forgive me for my weaknesses. Please forgive me for my laziness. I know I'm lazy, and I just hate it. I hate it. People say to me, oh, you know, why do you cry so much? Why, you know, why do you worry? Of course we've got to worry. We've got to face Allah in the hereafter. That's what another big trial I've got. You know, obviously my family don't believe in the hereafter. But Mum does now, because inshallah she's there. She only believed in it 3 weeks before she died. So Allah will take them when He wills. Hopefully He will take my children. They'll probably laugh at me now. But I hope they will, so as I can see them in the hereafter. There's lots of reverts out there like me. I'm not the only one, and I'm nothing special, and I don't pretend to be anything special. I've just, you know, wanted to share my story with you. Next week, this will be on 10 o'clock live again. Hopefully you'll join us. Well, hopefully you will. I'd like you to. I will be presenting a show next week, and we will have another revert on here as a guest, and his name is Mohammed. So inshallah, we will all be back next week. Thank you so much for watching, and may Allah send blessings on you all and give you strength. Thank you so much for watching.